You know what I'm saying? I'm just not getting back in it. So like, God, you got to keep showing yourself to me. You got to keep, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to church. I'm in your word. Like, I'm invested. But something still got to give. Like, I'm still a little rocky. Like, you gave it to me. You showing me, like, you making
You know what time it is. This is your girl, Shelly, with Go and Go Podcast. And I have a very, very, very special guest with me today. I have my lovely best friend, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself. So,
hey, everyone, this your girl, Shatara.
And I want to let her introduce herself. She is an entrepreneur. She is amazing at what she does. And I just want I want to give the floor to her.
Y'all, make sure y'all go follow my bestie, my girl, my love. I love her. Y'all go follow her. She a loctician and she is so fine. And a barber. Okay?
All right. So, I am a master barber. I go by the name Barber Doll. I'm also a loctician, and I've been in the game for like 3 years now. So, y'all can just follow me. Come get that work for real.
Tell them your Instagram. Tell them wherever they can find you. Give them the @ and then I'll have it below as well.
All right, my Instagram is the real Barber Doll _ and yeah, that's it.
So you guys, you already know how we do this. At the very, very beginning of everything I do, I say a scripture or I say a positive word. So today we do have a scripture and we have a positive word. So we're going to do it a little different today. And I just wanted to open the floor up for it to be a beautiful thing and for us to give our thanks to God. And I am going to let my best friend go over it because this is a scripture that she actually wanted to let you guys know about. And this is something that is home for her. So I definitely want her to do it. So.
All right, so I'll be coming from Psalms 121, and it reads, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills from which cometh my help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee, that King James version I'll be playing, boy,
right,
will not slumber. Behold, he is keepeth Israel, shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore.
Yes. I definitely love that. So I have something here that I want to tell y'all about, and I think it's very powerful because it will be about some of the things that we're going to talk about today. So yeah, so it says money is not our security. God is our security. So for basically what that means, if you are not sure, it's basically saying lean on God and not your own understanding. And also when it comes to money, make sure you put your trust in God and not your trust in money, and God will deliver everything for you. So with that being said, I want to open up today. We'll be talking about our journey with God and the difficulties and the pros to following God and why we chose the journey to follow God. So my first thing I do want to ask is, when did you start your journey to decide to follow Christ?
Just like most people, of course, it was instilled in me growing up or whatever.
Right.
I would say, but for me personally, I would say the beginning of this year. So, and I was people, I went in my early 20s pretty much not even just doing life on my own. I don't know if I really believed anymore, so I kind of just stopped or whatever. And just, believing in the universe and I'm the most high, But I always find myself being a spiritual person, and I find myself still acknowledging God. I just was never praying anymore. Like I wasn't never seeking God. I never really read my Bible ever. But I'll just say the beginning of the year, of course, when January 1st come around, we have these New Year's resolutions where we decide that we gonna do this. So I started going to church. And I I think at the beginning of the year, I was going through a breakup. Well, a fake breakup. Wasn't a real breakup for real. So I started going to church and I started being committed to things or whatever. And then I was doing it, consistently, probably like a couple of Sundays in January. And then what it was, my birthday came along. No, first of all, the nigga came back in my life. So I stopped, being as consistent. But what it was, my birthday came along, which was in February, and that kind of broke my streak. And in that time, I was going through a lot of things still within those moments. And after that, I was life and I stopped again. And so going back to what I, had already doing, just doing stuff on my own. The middle of the year, so from probably like February all the way to the middle of the year, I just was, not seeking God. Didn't stop going to church. Probably went like a time or two after that, and just was back to doing things on my own. Up until recently, which is a couple of months ago. I'd probably say, I guess October maybe. Going through a for real breakup. You know what I'm saying? Like I really had to, so I went through a breakup, went through the for real breakup. We broke everything off on a, mutual aspect or whatever. And I started back going to church consistently.
Right.
But this time it was more intense. Like I realized that God wasn't allowing me to back down this time. Like, things started happening, and this at the time when I graduated. So I graduated barbering school in August. Just having so many wins in my life or whatever. So I started acknowledging God, and I realized, like, even through that, me going through a breakup and just started losing friends. I started losing and just seeing people for their true selves and their true colors, and it, like, stuff just started happening where I had no choice but to, depend on God. So yeah, things just started getting intense for me, and I started being more consistent in church. And ever since then, I've been consistent, and just going to church, it's just started resonating with me. The church that I go to, which I go to Hope Church, it's just everything resonated with me. It's like every time, when you go to church and the preacher preach about something and you just feel like he's talking about you, it definitely just, I was like, okay, I gotta come back next. You know what I'm saying? I started being excited about the word because I'm like, I can relate to this. Like, it's like everything that I was going through in my life at that moment, every time I go to church on Sunday, God revealed it to me. To the point where I'm just like, okay, he feeding me and he pushing me, to keep coming back. So, after that, it's just like stuff just started getting real. Like I'm starting to see it and feel it for myself. Like I'm being more consistent, and so it just led me to be consistent and have, walk and do that journey for myself.
I love that. I think that is very important for me, I would say, to create a relationship with God. But the thing that I definitely want to touch on today is how hard it is to stay steady with your relationship with God. Because I don't feel like people talk about the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to following Christ. Because it's not as easy as people make it seem. It's beautiful, and the reward is amazing, but it's not that easy. You know what I'm saying? And I've had times where I literally was like, God, if you don't do it right now, I might do something. Like, but also knowing that you can have those conversations with God, and you can have those uncomfortable conversations with God, and let him know, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to turn. I'm confused. And it's okay. God wants to hear that. That fuels God, because he knows that you desire him, and he knows that you know that you need him. And so it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to sit in it. And some people just get to a point where they don't want to be okay so much that they convince themselves that they're okay, and they're really not okay. And they think because I'm a Christian, or because I'm a believer, or because I believe in this, or because I follow God, that I have to have everything aligned, everything together. I can't have moments where I'm sad. I can't have moments where I'm mad. I can't have moments where I'm confused. No, that's not true. You can have those moments where you're indecisive and you don't know. So I want to ask you, what is a time where you feel like your faith was really tested? Like, what happened to where it was like, oh my gosh, this is testing my faith, and I know I gotta trust God, but it's hard?
Now I'm actually going through that season currently as we talk, as we speak. I'll just pretty much say, I realize this season is an isolation season for me. Mm-hmm. It's a season where God has pretty much taken and stripped me from friends. It's, possessions of materialistic things. So I'll just say that. So, like I said, I've been having so many wins. I graduated barbering school. I became a master barber. I've just accomplished some of the big things in my life that I want to accomplish, and with God. So as God is taking and removing things from me, starting off with the people that are closer to me, and isolating me. I'm spending this time because now I'm trying to build this relationship in this faith. So, something is telling me within this journey, like this next season is going to require a different version from you. Mm-hmm. So at first I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, I can't go party. I can't do this. Like, I ain't got no money right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, God. So God, like for real, like the next season is going to require a different version from you. And I'm just like, all right, like I got you. Right. Not understanding, like, what are you really saying to me? Yeah. So in these moments, so back in what it was, October, so just give you a little rundown, I don't have a reposition. I've been evicted, years ago or whatever. For the last, I would say, and it's been 5 years, but for the last 5 years, I've been living under other people's roof, driving other people's cars. I've, had the possession of my own car, but I've just been living under people's roof. And, I've been back in Georgia for the last 3 years, and with me being in a relationship at the time, it was comfortable because I had somewhere to go. I was staying at the nigga house, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but all my stuff was at my mama's house. Like, it's a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't have no space in my mama's house for real. Like, I'm having to create this space to be comfortable. So, me going through a breakup, for real, I can't go to the nigga house no more. So guess where I'm stuck at my mama's house. Yeah. Sleeping on the floor, a blow-up mattress, like having to create this comfortable space. So it's one weekend, my mama go out of town. She like, so I'm like, shoot, mama out of town, I can go and sleep in her bed in her room type thing. So I'm like, shoot, yeah. So I'm comfortable. So I've always put on my goals to get an apartment. Like at the end of the year, I'm gonna get an apartment. But I'm not saving no money. I'm not making no plans. I'm just writing it out, just putting it in, like, not even really believing it, but it's a part of something I know that I want to do or whatever. So I'm just like, I'm talking about, I'm up, I got money, I'm, making money, this, that, and the third. But sometimes it's about, it's one thing to make money, but it's another thing to prioritize your money too. So, exactly. So my mama go out of town, sleeping in the bed, get comfortable, whoop. I'm like enjoying it. Right. And my mama come back. I'm like, bro, I gotta go back to sleeping. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. Like, I gotta go back to sleeping, being uncomfortable again. Right. Like, to the point where it literally pissed me off. Like, I'm just like, bro, hell no, I can't. So here I am. Even before she came back, I'm in the bed looking up apartments. Like, hell no, I can't. Like, can't do that again. But the whole time, I'm looking at these apartments, and I don't really have the funds to be looking at no apartment. Like, for real, like, this is not a part of my plan. Right. So something tell me, like, it's a specific apartment that I was looking at, and something told me, was like, it just was on my mind. Like, these same apartments, like, something told me was like, just go tour it. I went to go tour it. And it's crazy, these same apartments that I was looking at, my brother had told my mama to tell me about them. And I'm just like, okay, like, whatever. Right. You know what I'm saying? I seen those. I don't really like them because such and such, but whatever. But nah, like, so I go to the apartment, instantly fall in love. They some luxury apartments, they knew ain't nobody lived in them. So I'm like, this is it. So I'm praying. I'm literally praying at this point. I got more prayer. Well, and then that's the thing too. I began to learn how to pray again because I went years without even praying, like to the point where I didn't even feel like I knew how to pray again. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know how to pray. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm building up. Okay. I'm walking and talking with God, going around the neighborhood, the complex, just praying, talking to God, like, God. So here I am. I'm like, God, look. All right, you led me to this place, right? So this deposit and the application fee, this $200, like this, and this non-refundable. So God, like if it's meant for me, you know what I'm saying, whatever's in your will, like you gonna lead me to pay this money, right? Right. So I've learned to not make impulsive decisions. So I just kind of sat on it a little bit, let a day or so go by. That shit was still in the back of my mind. Like, yeah, pay. I'm like, God, I'm telling you now, like, if it's really meant for me, you gonna lead me to pay this money, and I'm gonna be okay. Woo. I went, I filled out the application, I prayed, and I filled out the application. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like, all right, God. Like, I don't spend it $200 now. You don't let me. It gotta be in your will. Like you told me.
Was you scared?
Yes, like I'm really like, bro, like come on, like, you know, a part of me was like, not, you know, it's a lot of money, like, and I can't get it back. So so here I am. I let a day or so go by. So, you know, they really have like 24, 48 hours to let you know if you approve or not. So I was like, shoot, I ain't gonna call the people because, like I said, I got this eviction on my note. I ain't finna let them tell me the bad news. But the whole time, I'm like, God, look, you told me this now. You said this to me, and you led me to spend my pretty much. I'm gonna say my last $200 for $200 that I know I couldn't really afford at the time to spend. Right. So I'm like, God, I spent this money. I'm telling you, I'm trusting in you to do this, right? So I come to work. I was like, I'm finna call. I'm like, oh, I'm not finna call these people because they not finna tell me I'm denied. You know, because it happened to me. It happened to me actually 2 times before this time. But you know, and I didn't really know the circumstances until the last time that it happened to me. So I'm like, God, I'm not finna call them. But I couldn't. I was just so anxious. I was like, man. So I called the lady. The lady, she was like, yeah, she was like, yeah. You gotta prove, you gotta accept that all you need to do is do such and such, and we'll send you over the first deposit, you know, in the first month rent. So here I am, and this when you call me. So here I am, excited. You call me, I'm busting out tears. I'm like, they done got me. They done approved me. So I'm happy. But I'm thinking like the process is gonna be smooth. It's gonna be selling. It's smooth. So the whole time, I'm like, all right, God, I go to God again. I'm like, look, you don't let me. I know I don't really have the money. And then I was supposed to move in November. So I'm like, God, this in a couple of weeks. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I got to come up with the prorated rent, and deposit. Okay, that's only such and such amount. Cool, that's the bare minimum. I'm thinking these folks, I submitted this paper. These folks hit me with the highest max ever. Like, so at this point, I'm getting discouraged because I can't pay that in the 48 hours that y'all give me. Exactly. I can't give you that money. So I'm like, God, this is weird because but the whole time though, my faith is building. I'm going through a moment. I'm talking and I'm walking with God, and it's so crazy because every sermon, the month from that month, my preacher was preaching about faith. So the sermons was aligning with my situation at the same time. So he's like, you know, talking about faith, and I'm like, dang, I'm going through this. I'm like, God, I can't afford this. I thought I was gonna be good. I thought it was gonna be a smooth sailing. So I'm like praying. I'm like, look, God, you told me like if I fill out this application, we had agreement, girl. Like you can't let me down now, even though I can't afford this. Like we had agreement. If I paid this $200, girl, like he was gonna come through for me. So the whole time I'm like, talking to my spiritual sisters, like my spiritual sister, and just kind of like talking to you and talking to, you know, people that I trust with information. But the whole time I was going to God and I was walking and talking and I was praying. I was like, God is building my faith, and God, I want you to reveal yourself to me in a way that it only comes from you. I don't want it to come from no man. And that way, so, you know, and we was praying for the resources. I had even had people offering to pay half and, you know, of the amount. And I'm just like, nah, bro, I don't want to be able to do it that way. Like, I want God to really reveal himself and show me him. So I go, something was like, just keep going to, you know, keep going to the office and talk to them, keep them updated, and be honest with you about your situation. Like, in reality, you can't afford it, to the point where I'm just like thinking about, like, getting online, how can I apply for this loan? No, my credit ain't talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I apply for this loan? Like, what are you doing? So God, the lady was like, normally I go up there the first time. Normally we give you, you know, 48 hours to pay it, but the lady has to Monday, but she have to send it in the office by Monday or they're gonna cancel it. And I'm just like, all right, I go in there, all right, I have it by Monday. Not knowing, like, I'm just like, all right, just really just believing that I have it. So I'm just like, all right, I have by Monday, whatever. So the weekend come, Monday come, I don't have it at all. Not even close to having it. So I go up there again, talk to the lady. And I was like, man, honestly, man, I said, it's not that it's one thing to pay it a month, but it's one thing to try to pay it in like a week or 48 hours. I said, it's kind of really unrealistic unless you just got it like you got your, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, ma'am, and she was like, okay, I'm gonna talk to the lady, I'm gonna put it in the system, see what I can do, da da da. So I didn't hear nothing back from them. You normally, when you don't hear nothing back, it's kind of a good sign. So I'm just like, you know, just running up a bag. And finally, I go up there again, and the lady was like, you know, and she was like, yeah, we see it in the system where you've been communicating, long as you know, pay it in 30 days. I was like, so basically, first of all, they moved my move-in date back because I felt like I needed it. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, basically, before I move in, and she was like, I was like, bet. But I was speaking to one of my one of my clients, and she really just talked to me on a spiritual level, and we can relate. And she said, she told me something. She was like, God will do something for you that he don't do for nobody else. Like, God, even if they don't prorate the deposit amount, like, God will lead and do something in the system for the people. And for me, like, he allowed them to give me extra time. Although I didn't have it in 48 hours, I had it in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it still was amazing. So here we are going through that, right? So literally, now I'm on my last leg. Like, yeah, it's official. That the whole time in this process, my faith is still building. Although God is coming through for me, I'm still a little timid. Like, y'all, I'm a baby Christian. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not getting back in it. So, like, God, you got to keep showing yourself to me. You got to keep, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to church. I'm in your word. Like, I'm invested. But something still got to give. Like, I'm still a little rocky. Like, you gave it to me. You showing me, like, you making it happen. But I still need to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So now my prayer is, you know, I'm just praying to God. I'm praying to God. So something lead me to say, hey, I want you to fast and pray. Like, I ain't never fast and pray a day in my life. What are you talking about? Like, fast and pray, my nigga? Man, what? Fast and pray? What? So I'm on TikTok. Crazy on TikTok. You be trying to research.
Figure out how,
what to do, what to say, when, and
Google at this point.
So that thing, fast and pray for 3 days. Now, this is around Thanksgiving. I'm like, look, now I can't do it on the week of Thanksgiving because I've been looking forward to this shit. Like, nah, bro, we not doing it Thanksgiving. So I was like, okay, that's understandable. So the week after, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, like, ate the last bit of that little food on Sunday. So I was like, man, I'm finna fast and pray. So that's exactly what I did. And I felt good. Of course, I was a little hungry. I was going, when they say you fast, you don't tell nobody. So here I am, I'm fasting and praying, hungry as hell, like, hungry.
Right.
go after the third day, I was ready to make a status and make a joke about like, y'all, I just fasted for 3 days. You know, I'll be making these little statuses on Facebook, you know, to encourage people. I'm like, shoot, I just did 3 days in, you know what I'm saying? Woo woo, I'm hungry as hell, but like it got real. Like on that day one was cool. Once I got 24 hours cool. But when day 3 came and I prayed and I fasted and I went outside and God like hit me on top of the head, like now it's like, so now I'm like, God, wait. Yeah. Like, nah, like, what are you doing? Yeah. This wasn't a part of the plan. Like, this supposed to be, you know, building me up. And what my fast was about, like day 1 to by day 1, I pretty much just surrendered and I'm like, hey, you know, bless my hands, my mouth, my heart, like, you know, from all transgression and iniquity, and just give me the garment of you and replace my garments, you know, with the old, remove the old garments and replace and fill me up with you and just let me be that burning fire. And I just started praying and I, you know, flipped the Bible and I'm just, you know, invested, just growing, just spending time with God, like to the point where I ain't even hungry even. So I'm just like, God, you hit me with this, like, okay, cool. So day 3 come and now you hit me with this curveball, and God, I don't know, like,
what to do with the curveball.
I don't know what to do with this curveball. Like, what is you doing? Like, you building me up, but God, I wasn't expecting this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. So here I am. God hits me with this curveball, and I'm just like, still again. I'm just like, bro, I don't know. And immediately being human, it was so intense and it was so bad. Like, what God hit me with, it was so bad. Like, I'm emotional, so I'm panicking. Then I had to stop, breathe, and I'm just like, okay, I just got off this, like. So I was like, you know what, bro? I was like, it's cool. Yeah, God, you got the right one this time. Because guess what? I said, God, you got the right one this time. I said, you got me last time, and if you would have did this a week ago, and you would have did this a month ago, I said, I probably would have folded. But I said, you got the right one this time. I said, I ain't gonna fold. I'm down for whatever. Because I said I was gonna trust you, and I said whatever's in your will, you gonna let it be done. So immediately I started praying. I was like, look, God, whatever is in your will, you gonna allow it to be done. Like, I done been through this before. Like, I'm human, and you know, of course, so I'm just the next couple of days, I'm just like stuck. I don't know what to do at this point. Like, God, what are you doing? Like, bro, I'm fasting and praying because, you know what I'm saying? This other situation. Now you don't hit me over the head with this, and I'm just like, what you doing for real? So, but even in this moment that God take things, it's like, and like I said, go back to that, it requiring a different version from you, like version of you. It's like, bro, you really, you making me stronger. Like, you building my faith each and every day. Like, you constantly reminding me, like, you, even on my slow days, even on the days where I just literally have to be still and just like learn how to act and go into prayer and ask God what is going on. Like, this junk is hurting, God. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm new to this. Like, you building my faith, but I don't know. Like, this ain't too sure. But it's just like now I'm just accepting things, and it's like every day God is reminding me that He is who He is. And as long as I keep going and I keep believing and I keep being positive, and that's one thing I've been doing in this little time. I've been changing my mindset. I've been speaking life, and I already been speaking the positive to existence before it even happens. Instead of being negative about the situation, I turn it into a positive. I've been so invested in my Bible. Never in a million years I would have thought that I'd be reading the freaking Bible for myself. But I've been so invested in His word, and I've been so invested in sermons on YouTube. That's all I've been consist of within these last couple of weeks. To the point where if He wakes me up in the middle of the night, it's replaying in my head. So if I am emotional, if I am having a bad day or a bad thought, it's turning around, and it's like God is reminding me constantly, like, hey, I got you. Hey, like, you know what I'm saying? So honestly, I can say I don't know when the last time recently I haven't had any bad or negative thoughts. Like God has really been building me up and building my faith. And he been working. And like I said, I ain't 100% there, but I feel like I'm doing a good job.
I think you are too. I would definitely say that I think that you're doing a great job, honestly. And to see you come this far, we've been best. What? How long have we? Like, but no. So I think that I do want to say that I think that you're doing an amazing job with building your faith up. Amazing job with staying steady, staying the course, and not letting situations shift you from what you're doing or what you know God is going to do in your life. And I do want to say a few things. I want to say sometimes in life it may be hard and it may seem like you're at a standstill or it may seem like you're at a breaking point. But I think it was my pastor, somebody saying like a breaking point is when God is about to have that breakthrough for you. So don't stop at the breaking point because on the other side is the glory that God has for you. But if you stop at the breaking point, you're not going to get to the breakthrough. So just remember to keep pushing and persevering through whatever it is you're going through. And I think it was either Eric Thomas or it was um, TD Jakes. It was one of them that I watched, and it was just like if God took everything away from me, if God stripped me of everything that I had, would I still trust Him? Would I still remain? Would I still be connected? And I remember I put a video up on YouTube, and it was like after my car accident, it was like I decided that no matter what I go through, I'm going to trust Him, no matter if He take it away. And I'm going to do a testimony later, at a later date. But basically, from what I went through, and everything got stripped away, and I have just been trusting God, and I've allowed God to use me. But I can also say, and I want to encourage anybody who ever felt like this, I've been at a place where after all this stuff that happened back to back to back to back to back to back to back, and I know as a believer you will suffer persecution, just how you deal with it will be different. And I feel like, just being honest and transparent with you guys, like I felt numb on days. Like it was like I don't know what to feel. I don't really know what my thoughts is at that point. And it's just like I had people to tell me like, calm down. Your thoughts are racing. A lot of things are happening. It's okay. You could just be still, like, you know what I'm saying? And get it together. Like, who the God you serve, like, and it was days where I cried. It was days where I was confused. It was days, and I've been following God for many years now, and many years in my adult years of basically how I did it was I did get saved when I was a child, but when I got older, I was like, do I believe it for myself? And so I started to go to church by myself. I started going to Bible study, and I started going to church on Sunday, and I needed to hear the word and soak it in and sit in it for myself with nobody around me. And I started just trying to figure out if this is what I truly believe, and I realized that it was. So I got saved again, and I just got saved because I felt like when I got saved when I was younger, it was influenced because I was like supposed to be going to church, and I wanted it to be because it was something from my heart. And so I did that, and I started going and following God. But even on your long journeys of following God, you can get choked up. But I never took my eye off the prize. But I do feel like sometimes you can feel numb, you can feel confused, you can feel uncomfortable, you can feel like, hey, like, can you do something fast so I don't do something else? And I feel like you can have those honest moments with God. Like, listen, God, if you're really the God who you say you are, I need you to show up. I need you to show up now. And that's just because God will never give you too much more than you can bear. So if you're saying that and you're like, God, please, I need you to show up. I need you to show me who you are. And God will really show you His hand. He will show you who He is. And so I feel like trust Him at all times and never lose sight of that. And also, like, get that relationship for yourself and don't feel forced to get that relationship because people are telling you need to do this, you need to do that, because a lot of the times the people who are telling you need to do that doesn't even have a personal relationship with God themselves. So you have to make sure that, for one, you ask God for the discernment of people so you can know who is credible and who isn't, because everybody who's a believer isn't credible, and everybody who is a believer, and it's like, to judge someone for where they're at in Christ or, their journey is don't judge nobody. Like, love them for where they're at, and push them to do better. Now sometimes you do have to release people because you may be growing, and where you're going, God allowed you to see that they can't come with you. But I also believe that no matter what is, if someone enters your life, you should try to lead them to Christ. And if that is not what they want, then let that be and let them release that. Do not pressure them to do that, because that is not up to you. And I just want to say that make sure that your circle reminds you of God. And if it doesn't remind you of God, then you need to reevaluate your circle, because the thing is, the people you're hanging around is a clear reflection of who you are, because parts of them is going to be in you automatically because it's someone you spend your time with. So just make sure that you're mindful of those things. Like, even if it's like you are the person who's the most spiritual in your group, okay, make sure that you have people that at least want to know God, want the relationship with God. Those are important, because you get people who just be like, oh, I don't even care about God. Your journey and where you're going, and someone not caring about God at all, but also not caring about God and not willing to care or not willing to grow, because those are two different things. But people who don't want anything to do with it, you have to let those people go and figure out what they're going to do themselves. But for your journey, make sure you stay steady. And I want to say one more thing to my best friend before we end this. I want to know. I know that you've been on a journey where it's been like a steady float. You've been going through the phase of really learning who God is and stuff like that. And I would say, what is your biggest takeaway from your situation? What you have learned, what's happening, and what advice would you give your younger self? And what advice would you give to someone who really, really needs to learn who God is?
The biggest take, I would say, to just embrace it. Like, embrace what's going on, acknowledge how you feel, understand that you're human and you're not going to get it right on the first time. You might not get it right on the second time. You might not get it right on the third time. And don't try to rush the process. Really take time and acknowledge what's going on. And personally, what I can say for an upcoming person is learn, just get to know it for yourself. Like, people can tell you their experiences, they can tell you this, that, and third. They can press, like she say, they can, if you're not ready to do something, then, you know what I'm saying, then you're just not ready. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, don't do what's trendy, or don't do it because somebody else is doing it. Like, don't do it because your mama them and your granddaddy them told you that you had to do it, because you ain't gonna want to do it. Do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Get to know. Like I said earlier, never in a million years I would have thought that I'm ready to read this Bible for real. The boring Bible the Bible ain't boring. It's actually pretty interesting, because I want to know. I want to know. And it's filling me up. And when I'm having a bad day, and when I don't understand what's going on, and something reveals itself to me in that Bible. So personally, I just say embrace the season, embrace the phase, embrace the experience, and just like feel every moment. Like, really just take your time and just, you know what I'm saying? And as far as my younger self, man, honestly, I would say, I don't really have nothing to say to my younger self, but I would say I wish that I would have did it a lot sooner. Because if I known what I know now, and I know a lot of people can probably vouch for this and this, saying, if you know what you know now, you'll probably be so much further. Although I know life is, already written out, and you on time, and this, that, and the third. But sometimes you do have that, dang, if I would have just, in that moment. You know what I'm saying? It's been plenty of times where God has led me to it. Like you say, you can lead a horse to the pond, but that don't mean they gonna drink from it. God has led me to it plenty of times. But because my lens, I didn't really want to see it. Or because situations and circumstances and different experiences and different places that I was in my life at that time, I wasn't consistent. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing I would say, like, just learn to be consistent and don't put it off, and just, get it for yourself. Like, embrace it, feel it. It's okay. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay to not to be okay too. Yeah. Like, stop trying to pretend like you good and you really not. Like, sit down. It's okay not to. You know what I'm saying? I've been an entrepreneur for 3 years now. Mm-hmm. Like, I haven't, had no job for 3 years, besides me going to go be a little hood girl. But that was whatever, because I still did I was showed up. Yeah. But it's just like, but I've always found myself rushing the process, trying to, even going through barber school, I find myself trying to hurry up and get done. Mm-hmm. But God, like, nah, not this time. You're going to feel every feeling. I'm steady. And you're going to stay here until you get it. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get it for yourself. And you're going to learn for yourself. So now, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't what my mama them told me. It ain't what my granddaddy them tried to instill in me then, because I ain't wanted to do it back then. Right. Now I want it for myself. Exactly. So guess what? I'm going to get, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to really, take it, and I'm going to walk, and I'm going to run with it, because I got it for myself.
I love that. And what I would say to my younger self, if I, knowing what I know now, what I would have said to my younger self is basically, make sure you don't straddle the fence. You can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out in believing in God. You have to either be all in or all out. Because when you straddle the fence, it comes too much confusion, and you really don't have faith when you straddle the fence. And the whole point of believing is having faith. So I would definitely tell my younger self is, make sure you're grounded in your faith, and make sure you are steady and you're not waddling. And then what I would say to a upcoming believer, or just a person who is a Christian who's in limbo right now, just anybody who will need this positivity, I would say this: whatever you are going through right now, as a believer, you will suffer persecution. But whatever you're going through right now builds your testimony. When you have more things that people can relate to, it builds your testimony, which means that you reach a bigger crowd. So whatever you desire to do, it gives you more expansion. So God is expanding you. So don't be so scared of what comes with it. It's trials and tribulations that will come with it. But God is expanding you in that time, because He knows that He needs you to connect to masses. If you just have one little itty bitty story that doesn't really tell that much, it's only going to click to a certain people. Like, content creators will know this. If you just have one niche, you can have a niche, but don't make it so to the point where it's a straight line and it's not a broad enough range to reach a good amount of people. You can have like a lifestyle niche, and that can come and that can, pick up in different areas, and you don't have to stay just like this. You know what I'm saying? So you want to be able to touch as many people as you can. And I would say, don't be afraid to share the gospel. Don't be afraid to share what God has done in your life. If God has moved your life, if God has made your life beautiful, if God has stepped in your life, start telling your testimony. A lot of people are not farther because they're not telling enough people. And so make sure that you do that, and your testimony is not for you, it's for the people you will help and touch. But with that being said, I love you guys, and I thank you so much for watching Go and Grow podcast. You already know this, your girl Shelly.
Go like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell. I love y'all.